if I am or not. There it might be. I'm live. That's what it says. I got my lighting. I think my lighting's fine. I don't know. I got my other hat. This is my owl hat. Like that. But of course, when you're a TI, you don't want to look nuts. Because when you talk about the stuff we go through, you can't help it. Realize it's designed so that when you do talk about it, you're designed to make, if you talk about it, it's designed to make it so painful. It's designed to make you want to talk about it. And by talking about it to a psychiatrist, a doctor, it's designed in a way to try to make you sound, to belittle you, to discredit you, to make you sound nuts. Kind of like the FBI or CIA claiming it with Havana Syndrome. What's the greatest thing I cannot imagine. I'm Alan, by the way. Hello. That's right, my friend. Yes. I can't, but we are not nuts. They are. And it's just, that's the truth. When you go through it, you realize it's like in the 70s. They had, Sidney Gottlieb was the head of the CIA. He was the person that was more responsible for MK Ultra, torturing people with drugs without their knowledge. Without their knowledge, they're okay, slipping drugs into prostitutes and their johns, their drinks, and just seeing what the effects of it were. It's just, that's how much of an asshole and how pieces of shit they literally were. They pretended like, oh, that's wrong. So Frank Church was from Idaho. I forget if he was a senator, I believe so. And he started the church commission, whatever. And this whole idea of trying to make, some accountability for what they're doing and putting people through, men and women, some young, some old, different, and it's on tape. It's from the 1975, I believe. And, it's, Sidney Gottlieb was a person, it's funny because he was actually a socialist. They hired a socialist to be the head of the CIA. He was like the president of his college's socialist party. And they hired him. He was a socialist, which I don't care if he's a socialist. I happen to like Bernie Sanders because the way capitalism is gone, where there's billionaires, and then you got people who have worked all their life and then they're homeless, or veterans who are homeless, or where their government quit. Even the 9/11 people, the first responders, the government's, we don't want to, now you're on your own after 20 years. And it's like, never forget that tapestry. But then it's like, well, it's been 20 years. Yeah, they forgot. It's like you need Jon Stewart. You need someone like a Jon Stewart or an RFK to shame them, to remind them of what they're supposed to be. Everybody knows that. We elect them because we believe they're going to do something good. And then suddenly, whether the power gets to them, the fame, they promise one thing, they get the job, and then we can even show videotape and put it on TV of what they said they stood for or believed. And that used to be enough to destroy a person. But now it's just mundane routine. Anyway, we're here to talk about MK Ultra, a target individual program. I'm not sure what they're officially going to call it. We just call it target individual program. But it's actually in the news, and it's been in the news for since 2015, Havana Syndrome. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. Hello, Lindy. It's like the good guys are seen as bad, and the guys in the good guy costumes are the demons, harsh demons. Hi, Tanya. It's good to see you. I have the book by Colin Ross, the psychologist, right? The CIA doctors, human rights violations by American psychiatrists. Very interesting read. Hi, Tanya. I've never read it. I know he's the doctors. He's a psychiatrist, psychologist, and very critical of the government. The doctors at the CIA has used for torture, and a lot of times, like these, it's not like there's hundreds of journalists, hundreds of doctors and universities around the world, a lot here in America, Stanford, Duke, Yale, MIT. I mean, there's just University of Alabama, where they did that support study with the premature babies to see if they could go with lesser oxygen. The support study, look it up, premature babies without oxygen. I mean, this is some fucked up, it's for the sake of science. Well, ask the baby or their parents if they. Nobody's going to sign themselves up. If they sign their babies up for that, take those babies away from that parent, because no parent is knowingly, if they love their child, is going to sign their brand new newborn or not yet born child to be a guinea pig in a scientific discovery. I mean, it's just a torture. Anyway, you look it up. I think it's Public Citizen, the name of the website that I found it on. But there's just the support study. And that's from the NIH. Francis Collins. I loved Francis Collins. He was a great thinker, the studier of the human genome, who really helped discover it. There was a competition, him and his team versus Craig Venter and his team, to be the first to crack the human genome. And Francis Collins was the first, but Craig Venter and his team was right there, right behind. So it's kind of like that competition works. But then it went from that to using genome. And with every scientific discovery, you can do so much wonderful, good, blessing, just medical miracles. We've seen that with the advancement of technology and science. But then some fuck up always comes and decides, what kind of shitty ass evil thing can we do with it now? And we've seen that with gain of function. They could take something and make it something so good, a cure for a horrible illness. And there's some jackass, because they have so many billions, trillions of dollars. Like Donald Rumsfeld said on September 10th, 2001, the day before 9/11, is like in the podium said, well, I just to the press club, I heard there's like they couldn't find over $2 trillion missing. 2 trillion. Yeah, just as a joke. But seriously, black ops money for black ops, and just shit like this. MK Ultra, targeted individuals. And it's just the shit that we have to go through. But it became so big and such a colossal embarrassment to our government, to the senators, to the congressmen, governors, even our local police that have to go in this gang stalking bullshit, while the rest of the world was chanting that some of the liberals are saying defund the police. They're like, no, we're good. Police are good. But then it's like they start doing this shit. And it's like, if you're raised respecting law enforcement, respecting City Hall, and then you realize they're part of it. And if you're raised religious, conservative, Republican or Democrat, where you just try to be good to people, and then you find out your doctors or government or City Hall, your job, your employment, decided to throw you to the wolves and you did nothing wrong. And it's just like, you guys, UTIs, you know what I'm talking about. It's just like, and a lot of this, I don't know how many videos actually get out and to the TIs, because a lot of them, I think, just get hijacked by the Fusion Center. And they pretend, but you never know. I still know I want to help people, because for 36 years now, but for 30 years, I just had pain. I had very little emotion, just because I was getting hit in the right here, constantly right here. And I didn't know what caused it. But my doctor, I asked, and sent me to a specialist. So thankfully they did that. I mean, a doctor could have done nothing, but instead they sent me to specialists, gave me pain meds. And you just figure, well, nobody knows they don't know everything. Nobody can fix everything. But then you get V2K, and then you find out people with V2K get directed energy weapons. They put sometime during an operation in the past, in my case 30 years ago, a broken arm, and they implanted, I don't like using the word implant, like they implanted me, but they put a biometric next to right up here. And with that biometric, they can shock you. They can, do little zaps. And if you're a TI and you have that, you know what I'm talking about. And now they know it's called Havana Syndrome. And they're trying to blame it. It's their attempt at an alibi to blame it on Cuba, China, Russia, direct energy weapons. And it became so annoying to these countries, so annoying, that they're like, well, finally the guy from the CIA, very soft-spoken, likable, it seems, admitted, well, it's not a foreign adversary. And of course, 60 Minutes lady, Leslie Stahl, I believe, was like, well, if it's not, this is what she should have said. If it's not a foreign adversary, who's left? Who did it? Who's doing it? And it's like, do we admit to direct energy weapons? I mean, the patents are out there. Anybody who looks for 2 minutes can find it online, the evidence for it, even the patents. But it's like, the only one I saw actually do it was Fox a couple times. That they showed the patents, showed pictures of what these weapons used to look like, the big, huge looking, cloggy metal weapons. But now they are reduced to smaller versions, whether smaller used to be inside of a van or inside of a suitcase. And it's just, oh, hi, kitty. That's my baby. That's a kitty cat. Yeah, I'm the old crazy guy with a cat. Only one cat. Give me a few years and I'll be one of those, cat guy. So, all right, kitty. Yeah, I can't let you out now, so you might hear a cat. So, anyway, I'm sorry, guys. Great to see you, Tanya. Oh, thank you, Tanya. The book by Colin Ross is about MK Ultra. Yeah, they, the church committee, and good for the Republicans. I'm in the middle of the road. I would have been a Bernie Sanders supporter, but I saw how the Democrats, she's trying to get out now. I saw how the Democrats sandbagged him. And they literally, all those other people jumped out of the race, threw all their people behind. And I liked Biden. I liked him. But what they did to Bernie was unfathomable. It just was. And I liked the idea of Trump because I thought he was an outsider. Maybe he can do some real, anyway, I'm middle of the road. I can listen to CNN and listen to Fox. I liked Tucker Carlson. I didn't agree with everything, but I liked him and Jimmy Dore, and I liked the liberals and some of the atheists, and I liked some of the religious conservatives. So I can listen to just about anybody. I don't have a bent. I can listen to, anyway, that's just me. Hey, kitty, but I do like Breaking Points, but it's probably my favorite. Because it does some, anyway, I'm going off on a deep end there. So I once in a while see Kyle, and I see Target in Minnesota, but I don't know about you guys, Tanya, Lindy. I only get maybe about 9 or 10 of all the TIs in the world. I only literally get, I know that when you subscribe, this was bigger in 2015. I just heard V2K say, what do we do now? It's like, I'm exposing your secrets is what's now. It's not like in some books of TIs, it's hundreds of thousands. And I watched a couple of videos, Dr. Duncan, him with Timer and Do. First, it started out with 2,000, and then it jumped from 2,000 to 10,000. Oh, kitty, she's just going to town. She gets that, by the way. She gets out of the blue for no reason. Starts throwing up. Okay, kitty. Oh, she got stuck to the tape. She's okay. Oh, she jumped through the. Okay. There's another room. I got it locked, so she won't jump out. She's an indoor cat, but I'll bring her outside and let her feel the grass, get her grounding. Just because she likes it a little bit. So I know, baby. But anyway, I go off on those little tangents. Another thing I want to talk about is, well, it's weird because 1944, I was watching something. I think it was Annie Jacobson. She doesn't talk too much about TI stuff, but she does. She's like a biographer about official government, controversial issues or what could be called conspiracy. But the government, CIA, they let her in, and she's very objective. She doesn't throw out, but she just admits and they let her admit, like the Pentagon's brain, Area 51, the stuff when the government, in competition with Russia, was doing this look for ESP, parapsychology. There was this after World War II, and Hitler was looking for all this paranormal, ESP, telekinesis, remote viewing, Russell Targ and Stanford Research Institute. There's the skeptics, and then you got the believers. And there are smart people. The idea that skeptics are just, or I should forgive me. The idea that there are believers that are just, no, there are people like Brian Josephson, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics. There are people who are part of the Paranormal Society in Britain, in America, that are PhDs and that believe in ESP. But when you have V2K, it's real, and it's technology. For some people might have a spiritual, and the Lord can use that. And if if the Lord uses whatever in a beneficial way, but in my case, it's technology. People call it voice of God, or, they can in turn make an evil voice too. But it's a technology that they use, the Allen Frey microwave hearing effect. And I suck at science, so me talking about it would be mute, different frequencies, and, and then jumping on top of those frequencies. And I heard somebody, I don't know if it was Roger Tolsis or somebody, but describing how, some of this stuff, but, I better not, I couldn't go into detail because I don't know enough about it. I just know it's technology for me. So let's see. Colin Ross, miscount. Yeah, I think they're doing different programs on different people for different. Yes, that is true. Kyle put up a video day before yesterday, I think. Yeah, it's true. I'm sick of their technology. Yep, it's true. Different scripts. See, in me, I had, I was studying for the ministry. They did this to me after I broke my arm in high school as a football practice. I wasn't one of the starting football players. I loved to sound macho, but I didn't get to play a lot. I mean, I was a skinny guy, and I was most likely in my class of 89 in Dallas, most friendliest, and most likely to be teaching scientific creationism, because I gave religious apologetic speeches once or twice, I think. I read a lot of books on religion, apologetics, Josh McDowell books, creationist books, but I also read a lot of atheist books and humanist books from like the Freedom from Religion Foundation, American Atheists. I read a lot of books just because I was interested in what I believed and what other people thought. I wanted to hear different conservative and liberal, believer, non-believer, and just that kind of stuff. So, but I never ever tell people what to, because it's, anyway. So, and then I went to Bible college, and they're doing this shit to me, just hitting me. And then when you get hit like that, it takes your emotions. And if it's done for years, it feels necrotic. And in fact, last night, again, this has happened like 7-8 times. What I didn't know, I just knew my side was constantly like in pain. I would meditate, sometimes for hours, and try to focus on it. And for some people, but this has been done for me for over 36 years. And for 30 years, I didn't know what it was. You just pray to God, just like, let me know what it is, fix it. And I didn't even know what it was. Nobody knows what it is. Just pray, God, just let me know what it is or solve it. and nothing every day for 30 years. And then internet, at 45 is like 2015, target individual stuff. The V2K through the flooring, and then the Ella Free in Portland, the rally, Dr. Matt, Meigs. And then finally, because of V2K, I realized what this was. It was being hit with directed energy weapons. A biometric was put inside, and they were able to zap it just like that. And sometimes just almost like a little finger just going like this. And then you can hear the V2K saying, yeah, that's us. I mean, this is my reality, and it's the reality. We don't know if it's millions or tens of thousands. We just don't know, but we know we exist. And it's not just, at first when it's happening to you, you've never heard of TIs or V2K, you just think somebody's messing with you. Somebody, I don't have any enemies ever, really. Why, And it's like, then you put it together. Oh, I was a guinea pig, still am a guinea pig. And then you start looking at the history of being a guinea pig for our wonderful federal government, the NIH, Dr. Fauci, which unfortunately in Italian means sickle, like they do with the wheat fields, a sickle, or a gaping open mouth jaw or something, I guess in Italian. Anyway, it's just, but my name was, I have two names, Brewer and Nielsen, and it's just like Brewer could mean I'm a big drinker, so a person shouldn't be condemned by just what their name is, but what they do. So good or bad, or both. So anyway, I'm from Dallas, and now I'm in Salem, Oregon, and that town, literally, my entire life, I thought genuinely good people. My entire life, I thought, everybody. The people, City Hall, police, doctors, I thought they're pretty good. I just knew I had a constant, chronic, every second that takes some of your livelihood, your vital force, that sucks it away. And then you realize from Robert Duncan, that's the purpose. That's what they do it for, to hit you in the head or to hit you in the heart, to take away your emotional energy of yourself. And when they use religious scripts, they will use religious scripts. Don't hit the computer, kitty. I am that cat guy. He must increase, I must decrease. His will be done, not my will. But everything about submission, all this, carry your cross, pick up your cross. To me, it got to the point of what they call scrupulosity, which is evangelical, in my case, evangelical OCD. Just, is this right? Is this right? And OCD, scrupulosity, can happen to people in different Judaism, Islam, Christianity. It just means you really want to, if please God and not do sin, or even just when it comes to people, you don't want to hurt a person or an animal. You just become sensitive to not hurting other people or God or their feelings, or, offend, you become sensitive. So I knew that I didn't have any enemies, because I did live that type of life. I just, it sounds arrogant and pat myself on the back, but and the idea that they would do something that evil to me, I listen to my V2K, and it's like they'll try to bring your memories up and just try to haunt you. And it's like, what are they going to get me for? That I looked at a Playboy a few times? Whoop-de-doo. Okay, a few hundred. Okay, fine. But when you're religious, that puts a lot of guilt on you when you're a teenager. It's like your mind being perfect, all that stuff. Anyway, then you read James Dobson, and he says, no, 99% of all guys, maybe 1% that doesn't, but it's like, yeah, guy, it's normal. You're growing up. You can be as religious as you want, but human nature, as far as puberty, will kick in. And I had a guy talk to me at Bible college, and he was made to feel guilty for having a nocturnal emission in his sleep. I mean, you're sleeping. You have no choice in it. You wake up and it's like, ugh. And he felt guilty about that. So it's like, what are you going to do? You're sleeping. It's like, now it's just a joke. I mean, ever since the 90s, people joke about this stuff now. I mean, with the internet, it's just, duh, you're human. But, when you're religious, you're made to feel shitty guilt sometimes, and it's just like, but now it's like, yeah, I didn't do anything to anybody ever. It's like, if that's the biggest thing I could feel guilty about when I was a teenager, just like, that's stupid. Yeah, it's just like, anyway, it's a little lighthearted fun. I'm old now, 50, so I don't have to worry about, my decrepit age. Sorry, I was going through. I'm sorry there, Tanya. It's kind of, you and Letty, let's see. Going through this, it is. They are cowards. They are targeting older people. And that's, I mean, they did this to me when I was 15, and that's bad enough. I mean, but I can't imagine being, a mother and raising kids and then having this health happen to them. And it's just like, you can be as nice and good or whatever, and they still do it because you think the people of your town are nice, religious, and there's some just asshole, shitty people out there. The people that will jump your shit because you say the word shit, and it's like, well, how religious or spiritual? It's like, just because you cuss or something and just like jump your, it's like, screw them. Anyway, now they do this to. It's just abnormal. The good thing is, I couldn't imagine being a TI before Havana Syndrome, because those TIs had nothing to show the world except their testimony. Now we can show that this is happening to other people. Whether, I believe it's an attempt at an alibi. I mean, they may very well have done it to their own people. According to the CIA guy, it's not an adversary. But some people took that to mean like the story's fake. And it might be fake in the sense that it's not Havana, Cuba. It's not Russia. It's not China. But those weapons aren't fake. Those are weapons. We can show it and prove it with pictures and textbooks. And the 2011-2012 Target Individual White House Symposium with Dr. Fauci's wife, Dr. Christine Grady, she's part of, and 9 other people. And their whole job, and Dr. Amy Gutmann, University of Pennsylvania president, part of the Penn Biden Center. And there's like 7 or 8 other people. And their whole job, Amy Gutmann was talking to Ollie Velcher, I think MSNBC, and said, the reason we're doing this is because our government in the past used to experiment on people, and we want to make sure that these evil things aren't going on anymore, and that people are being taken care of, and that we're not torturing our civilians anymore. So it sounds like a nice thing. It's like, okay, good. That was in 2011. And again in 2012. Those are the ones that I always see that are on the internet. I don't know about the preceding years on videos. I don't know if the government helped anybody else in those intervening years, but those are the only years I always see. It just are, they're still doing it. And I think Havana Syndrome is just our government's attempt at an alibi to blame another country. The weapons are real. We know it's real. And that's why on Fox News about a week ago, the guy, Adam, who was ground zero, he was patient zero, the first patient, I should say, or number 1. They gave him the name Adam, like he was the first. And he was a CIA guy, and he got Havana Syndrome. And he was being interviewed from Fox News and saying, this is laughable. We know this is real. We know this technology. I mean, it's laughable. It's known about. And the idea that they're trying to, don't look at that guy behind the curtain. Don't look at that technology or the textbook. Don't check the internet. Don't look at books. It doesn't exist. I mean, our journalists have done such a shitty job of just looking, is there patents to this? is there? And it's like the White House bioethics with Fauci's own wife is on that panel, listening to people talk about this. Amy Gutman is on the panel of the White House, started by President Obama to make sure that people aren't being tortured and experimented on. And there's like 7 or 8 other people. It's on my playlist on YouTube. Created playlists and some of these videos. I think I got it from James Lyco's site too. I don't know. Anyway, I just go on these tangents, guys. They are cowards. They are targeting little babies and my families too. And it's like, they are so wrong. They are so, if you look at that support, they are doing things to premature babies. Taking away oxygen, not telling the parents all the details of doctors, the nurses. They're playing with the oxygen. These premature babies already have a tough road ahead of them and their parents. And to use them as guinea pigs in scientific experimentation, University of Alabama, of all places, was the head college for it, but then some other colleges were part of it too. And it's like, when is enough enough? We want science, we want, but there needs to be, like with some medications, there needs to be, they give people paperwork, sign it, they get paid for it, they let them know about the side effects, but for us, they just don't even think we're worthy of that. The Constitution, the Fourth Amendment, search and seizures, they can look and read our minds. There's this Fourth Amendment out the window. Fifth Amendment, the Constitution about not being a witness against yourself. If they can read your mind and your memories, that's out the window. The Eighth Amendment, against cruelty, irrational, harmful cruelty, punishment or something, cruelty, out the window. 13th Amendment, against slavery. Our leaders don't care about the Constitution. Our police don't care about the Constitution. And I say this as a person who has lived my life and I've never had problems with police. I didn't think badly about them. It's just, I didn't have, it's like some people in bigger cities, I didn't have a reason to hate them. But then I found out this, and for 30 years, nobody did what they're supposed to do. And then you realize all these people, whether conservative or liberal, religious or atheist, or all the spectrums in between, claiming they love America, love the Constitution, love their religion, and yet knowingly cover up. I mean, this is like literally Jesus saying to them, I never knew you, They claim a big deal, but when they torture innocent people for money, he said, you can't love both God and money. And they'll say, oh no, but you got to love one higher than the other. It's like, fuck that. That's the new international Allen version, the jive version. Fuck that. You can't be taking money for cruelty. Okay. It's not in stores yet, the new international Allen jive version. But that's, it's the Hebrew and the Yiddish on that. It's a little, So anyway, I won't be much of a scholar when it comes to interpretation or anyway. So much for draining the swamp, huh? All that talk about draining the swamp, and then their day job is, the thing is, everybody with MK during MK Ultra, including MLK, they did that to Martin Luther King. They threatened him with, you better go off yourself or we'll tell people about your whatever secrets and this and that. I mean, that's what the FBI does now. And when there's a time and this pressure to defund the police, Matt Gaetz and Vivek Ramaswamy, running for president, says we need to defund the FBI. Matt Gaetz says that, I believe. RFK, get rid of this military industrial complex, stop these wars that are just That's all they care about, money and weapons manufacturing. The people who've been, just quit it. Just stop with that. The FBI, once in a while, there's something that's in the news that they do something good, but half the time, I live in Salem. In Portland, they had a Christmas tree bombing. That was an FBI setup, taking a Muslim teenager, putting him in situations, trying to piss him off, getting people, and they do this all the time. The 93 World Trade Center bombing in 1993, that was an FBI setup. One of their main guys, Salem or Salam, something or other, the FBI was helping to make a bomb. I mean, all of this, and my V2K is getting pretty pissed right now. They're like, man, he's saying all this shit. And it's like, yeah, it's just like, it's the truth. I just always thought all truth is God's truth. And it's just like, you shouldn't be torturing people. You guys agree. So it's just sometimes, like Tucker Carlson would say, if you just got to tell the truth, and sometimes people make mistakes. This is not mistakes. These are people being cruel to make money. It's cruel capitalism. I mean, they could be socialists for all I care, like that CIA guy at the MK. He was a socialist, and he was this cruel. So it doesn't matter your political stripes or your religion. I've seen people, atheist or religious, evangelical, Protestant, Catholic, Muslim. There are wonderful people in every stripe. But I've also seen people we've all seen it, because of money, because of the stresses of money or something. They do the most evilest things, and they need to be held accountable. Fauci, don't do gain of function, did it anyway. No charges. Collins, I liked it, but our government somebody needs to go to prison. If they don't pay for it, and I don't mean just financially, if they're rich, they don't care about losing money. They need to go to prison. They need to literally pay for it. Those fusion centers, they need to pay for it, and that money stripped away. The FBI. Gretchen Whitmer, the governor in Michigan, she was going to be kidnapped. That was an FBI setup. They now admit it. The January 6th thing that Tucker Carlson exposed, because they were showing videos. This isn't a liberal versus conservative thing. Some of the police didn't know about it, but other people in some of the police did. Some of the police let that shaman, crazy-looking guy just walk through, and they made him look like a horrible. Other times the police, yeah, come on in. We're going to show you the way. He was showing the videos of people just walking him around. Police. Some of the police were in on it. Some of them were not. That's how it is. It's like some of the FBI are in on it. Some of the FBI are not. They're just told what to do on a walkie-talkie. It's just like, it's like if a calamity happens, the news reporters and the police, normally local, they handle it, and then the feds come in later that day or the next day, and they change the narrative to fit what they want the news to report. If there's a second or a third bomb, or if there's a demolition like a 9/11, a Building 7, the 9/11 book, the official book, doesn't even mention Building 7. They hope people don't ask. It's like, oh, airplane never even hit 9/11. I mean, never even hit that building. But, well, just don't ask that question. And I was never a conspiracy person. But when this happens to you, I mean, you could listen to someone like Jesse Ventura, listen to an InfoWars and think, but you can watch CNN or MSNBC. But when this happens to you, you do realize our people in government, they are covering up a level of evil and corruption. And I don't mean corrupt like they take some money from bribes. I mean torture. And at least we're at a time. The great thing is now with Havana Syndrome in the news, we're at a time where there's pressure on them to do something. And I even think our government's tired of hiding the truth. I mean, it's out. It's like Shaheen or whatever her name was said, the horses left the barn, covering up this thing. John McCain's wife was talking about Epstein some time ago, and she was being interviewed with an audience of people, and she goes, just off the cuff, goes, yeah, and the thing is everybody knew about it. everybody knew about it. And I think it was Amy Robrock, one of the journalists. She was trying to break that story about Epstein. And she had all this stuff, and it's like, no, nobody, I got all this stuff, and nobody will allow me to talk about it. Like the timing wasn't right or something. So we do got our work to come out for us. Thank God for those groups that do help. Anyway, my mom's going to be home, and I'm going to make her some coffee. So I'm going to do some reading here. They are not getting away with it. We'll come back on them. I do believe in this karma. And I believe, I don't know about you guys, but look up synchronicity. I spent most of my life just, believer, but I've noticed a lot of weird, and it's not just technological things that they can do like V2K and synthetic telepathy. It's things that can't be technological, that are coincidences. Maybe that does have almost a supernatural ring to it, a feel. And I always have been anyway, definitely makes a person more open, even if emotionally you can't feel it because of 36 years of damage. It does because of them. You can. I remember you can appreciate it more now. This was my religious, I wouldn't call it a diary, but I literally thought my side pain was because I took religion too seriously. I had my little, he must increase, I must decrease thing from Marlene Winnell's book, like that picture of Jesus, and he's becoming more stronger and the person is fading away. It's the words of John the Baptist, as I try to emulate Christ, he must increase, I must decrease. And that's what Robert Duncan talks about, is using religion to decrease your sense of self. They pervert it, make it such a guilt-producing, shame-producing, that's why a lot of people are leaving the faith, because it's been such a negative experience. I'm kind of glad that they've got things like Robert Schuller, Norman Vincent Peale in the 60s and 70s, that put a positive self-esteem, Joel Osteen type, because a lot of people are, I don't care for the multi-million-dollar mega church shit, but I'm glad that there's more of an optimistic approach to Christianity, rather than, this was the most popular book next to the Bible for centuries, The Imitation of Christ. And it's really, when you're serious about faith, it can be enlightening, but some of the verses can be definitely viewed as masochistic. They're anti-self to such a degree. It's like, love nothing of the world, only love the things of God. And you can understand that. But when it literally coincides with a torture program, to where you're trying to, he must increase, I must decrease, and you're part of a torture technology that uses your religion against you, and the people of your town are in on it because they get money. And it's like, and they think it's going to bring you closer to your faith, when it's like, you're already studying to be a minister, but they get money for it. So I guess that's the thing that makes them feel good about it. So it's like, what? I'm already studying to be an apologist at that time, when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 3 years of Bible college. Anyway, another great book, The Electromagnetic Revolution, Federal Targeted Individual Program by John Phillips. Definitely good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to get, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all injurious things. Yes, money is their God. It's true, Lindy. God is also spiritual. Satan is behind it. Yeah, it is. I mean, Duncan calls it like Project Satan, or they give it religious, like Project Gabriel, like the angel. One's called Tammy. I forget what the fuck that means. But it's like Project Gabriel, Project Satan. Oh, forgive me for using the F word again. It's like after me. Yeah. Again, it's just like, still that word is like, yeah, F it. I better just say F it. So it's not a bad thing, but it's not, people don't take you seriously if you start talking that way. So It is a spiritual Satan is behind this. I know there's some assholes behind this, and it is satanic. And what I mean by satanic is the actual Satan very well could be. I know it's evil, selfish people using technology to torture people. And I think Satan, there's something demonic, whether the scrupulosity. As a religious believer myself, who studied the existence of God since I was 13, and am a believer, and shows that free will proves there's a soul. I mean, epiphenomenalism. I spent years on this stuff studying apologetics, and but I suck at technology. But I do know that it's a shame that our city halls are part of this, and our government on both sides, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, are just covering it up. And they're just and it's like to their shame and embarrassment, because Havana Syndrome got so big that it's embarrassing. The horse has left the barn, you know? So anyway, yeah, Linda, you're right. Linda, take care, everyone. Hope the rest of your day goes well. And remember, whenever it does work for me, when I get down and depressed about this, I just remember it always picks me up. Havana Syndrome. And I look it up. Havana Syndrome. Havana Syndrome. And that makes me realize it's out there. The horse has left the barn. And the pressure's on. I think they keep putting it out there because it's just too embarrassing. And they want it to come to an end. Because, I mean, I don't know if all these FBI, CIA people but they admitted it's not even a foreign, I mean, the horse has left the barn. So thanks to those FFTI, and I can hear the V2K just like, this is bad. This is bad. Yeah, it is bad for you guys. Yeah, you might have to be in the unemployment line before long. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later, okay? I'm going to go make my mom some soup or a sandwich or some coffee at least. So, all right, do something fun. Go watch some South Park or something funny, something like that. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.